Oh, that was nice. Hey guys.
That bit.
Yeah, well, that's all good.
Hi.
Hey guys. Hi. We wanted to jump on here and talk to you guys today about two things we've learnt through the years of training that we've both done. I've trained for about 12 years. Amber?
Since I was 14.
14. You're like 1,000 now.
years.
7 years? So probably like 20 years of training time between us both with different sports. I did soccer and different things. She did like rowing and...
Swimming, soccer.
Yep, a bunch of other competitive sports. But specifically with the gym, we wanted to talk about two things that each one of us have found useful, and we kind of wish we knew way back when we started, to learn how to sort of implement in our training, because if we did, we'd be probably a lot further than where we are now.
Yes, for sure.
I'm not saying that we're like fucking midgets and skinny, but you get the drift, right? So my biggest thing, my number one is consistency. So even if you're showing up twice a week to gym, to training, that's enough. If you do that over the course of a year, that's 100 sessions that you wouldn't have had. Whereas if you show up, let's say 4 times a week and then none the next, in terms of return on your efforts, you're really not going to get much muscular gains.
And that's kind of the issue that I had at the start was I was overtraining so hard, and so my point is kind of don't overdo it, don't overtrain, just have consistency and get some guidance off someone, because I had no guidance and I was just smashing it out. I'd go hard for about 2-3 weeks and then I'd get sick and I'd get tired and I'd burn out and I just wouldn't be consistent. Get some guidance, understand that your body isn't going to respond well to overtraining. You need to take it easy from the beginning, just taper into it.
Yeah, so what would you recommend? Probably any sort of amount of days is fair enough, or is there a minimum for you and a max? What would you recommend? My personal would probably be like minimum 2 sessions a week, whole body, and then probably max would be 4.
As a beginner, yes. I also think intensity comes into play with that as well, because you can do 4 sessions a week as a beginner, but then if you're absolutely smashing it out, burning yourself out for 2 hours at a time in the gym, that's also going to be really quite taxing on the body. So it just depends.
How would you gauge your intensity then? Like, let's just say you are going 4 days a week, but how would you know that you're going too hard on those 4 days for you? What's a good indicator? Just one good indicator. So people
How's your recovery?
Okay, so is that muscle soreness? Is that sort of aching? Is that day-to-day function? Like sort of.
If you're sore, take it easy. Just taper back. You don't want to be too sore. DOMs are a great thing. However, you don't want to be overdoing it. You don't need to be excessively sore. Not being able to walk the next day isn't a good sign. We want to be sore, but not ridiculously sore.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so how would you taper that back? If you're a beginner and you're blasting it every session and you think, fuck yeah, let's rock and roll, let's go. We've got 4 sessions, let's blast ourselves, but it's not paying off for you.
Yeah.
How would you go about stepping it back a little bit?
Reducing load. So to me, that says that you don't have strong enough foundations and you're just absolutely smashing the body, and that's not going to be a positive thing long term anyway, because you're more than likely going to cause injury. So just taper back the load. You don't need to be lifting ridiculously heavy loads.
Cool, nice one. And go, all right, so my number 2 was tracking your weights. I think it's really important. Again, you're never going to not want to be strong if you're a female or male. Even if you're cutting or bulking, you're still going to be wanting to progress in your weights.
Yes.
If you're deep in a cutting phase and doing a bodybuilding show, look, different story. So it's important that you don't sort of structure your workouts and what your training is like to competitive bodybuilders at the start, at least, because that can be a dangerous rabbit hole to go down, where a lot of people think you should do high reps and then low reps and all sorts of stuff. Generally speaking, when you first start off, track your weights. You're trying to get stronger, and you will get stronger even if you're cutting or bulking. And safe to say you won't be lifting really crazy loads that are going to get you injured too much at the start. So it's just a good idea to track them, whether or not you're cutting or bulking, and it's easier to focus on those 2 things, consistency and just tracking your weights, as an entry-level player into the gym world, as opposed to trying to add a third on with diet. At the moment, for me, that would be the best sort of tip I could give. If you're new to the gym, just track your weights and just track your and just be consistent. That would be my 2.
Yeah.
And your second one?
My second one was eating. So I had a really bad binge restrict mentality. So I would constantly overeat, then undereat. And as a result, my performance really deteriorated. And I don't know if this was a really, I kind of felt like being a really self-conscious 16, 17-year-old. I was trying to lose weight, but I was performing at quite a high level in a sport, and it was rowing for me, where I was trying to get stronger and better in the boat. But as a result of my lack of food, I wasn't seeing any progression.
And so what was that progression? Sorry for jumping in, but what was
that's
that progression for you? Like, what did it look like? Was it less, was it poor recovery? Was it poor times when you're rowing?
Yeah,
Or
time. Yeah, so we would jump on the erg and we would, the rowing machine, and we would track how long it would take us to do 500 meters or whatever.
Okay.
And so just seeing those numbers go down and down and down is like, no, what's happening? You want to see them progressing, but also do runs, we'd do circuit training. So there was lots of measurements in terms of seeing, okay, my training is not going well. How do I improve this? How do I get better? And so,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. So my top two again, consistency and tracking your weight, being 2 days being my minimum if you're an entry level player into the gym, or 4 days probably being the max. Amber, your two to round up were?
Don't burn out and don't undereat.
And just a highlight reel on how not to burn out, and then what a sort of overeat would be.
Don't burn out by
Big
looking
sentence.
at things for the long run. So you want to make sure that you're aiming to continue doing this for the rest of your life. What's sustainable for you? And then track your food. Honestly, when I started using MyFitnessPal, that was when I started seeing consistency in progression in my training. So tracking your food is essential.
Nice one.
Cool.
All right, guys. Thanks for paying attention.
Thank you.
Amber has a page called The Body Methodology. If you're interested in anything that she has to say or do, she's a pretty smart chickie.
Thanks.
So go check her out on Instagram. You got a Facebook page as well, Bob?
No, not yet.
Okay. So just go check her out on Instagram. She's just got some pretty cool infographics and that sort of stuff up at the mo. And if you're a lady, she's on top of all that lady stuff.
Talk about the cycle a lot.
Hates the cycle stuff. Love that. I saw this funny meme. It was about a female being a cute little ketchup packet. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It was like
Where are you going with this?
if your girl's mad, just cuddle her and say, "I love you, my little ketchup packet."
I don't even understand the analogy.
Because you're bleeding, bro. Ketchup packet. That's why you're my little ketchup packet.
Thanks.
I mean, you're a big ketchup packet. You're very fucking big.
Whole lot of ketchup.
Whole lot of ketchup. Okay. Anyway.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Keep that in for sure. And thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.